I've got to be honest with you, chums. I've often been, given the opportunity to appear on certain shows, literally, those reality TV shows. And I've never really been interested because, as many people know, I know how television works. Now, obviously, when they're waving a huge check in front of you and you think, wow, you're going to offer me that much money, everything costs, It's a bit like the start of Fame. Do you remember the TV series where the brilliant Debbie Allen said, fame costs, and right here is where you start paying. I've always believed that with those reality shows because very few come out of it very well. What you normally find is the production team have decided what role they're going to cast you in. And they basically make sure that if you're the baddie or they like you, or perhaps ITV are very keen, say, to sign you. If you saw last year, of course, the wife of the footballer Wayne Rooney, Colleen Rooney, came out of it very well on I'm a Celebrity. But that could have been totally different if they'd have decided differently. And as I said, when I've been offered these shows, I've often thought, well, first of all, I don't believe I'm famous, truly. And the other side of it is I'm not interested. Being trapped, say, in a jungle for 3 weeks on end, or sat in a house looking at the same people. No thanks. Life's for living, and there is no amount of money that can make you twist your mind. But there are, of course, if you are, certain celebrities, and particularly if you're narcissists and desperate for attention. A bit like this bunch that have decided to join this latest celebrity version of a big hit show over here, some might suggest, Traitors. Let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chum. Sorry, we'll have a lovely wave. Nice to have your company. Yeah, I don't know about you. I never really am interested in the celebrity versions. Some of the other versions I think are quite interesting because, of course, you get taken on the journey of those individuals. The moment they make the celebrity version, I think, well, you know that they're going to be mollycoddled and all that sort of stuff. And this particular lineup for this particular very first celebrity version of the BBC game show, I think you would call it, set up in the wonderful land that is Scotland, Traitors, hosted by Claudia Winkleman. Well, apparently it's a stellar cast. I think that's stretching it a bit. I know one or two of them. In fact, a good friend of mine is Alan Carr, the comedian. He's popping up, and I know why Alan's doing it. Absolutely. And then, of course, there's the former singer Charlotte Church, who needs a bit of an injection of reality to remind people exactly why they liked her. Few ventures haven't exactly gone her way, and no doubt the cheque will come in handy. But it's this man that I'm baffled by, and I wanted to share this with you. Stephen Fry. Some people suggest that he is the modern-day Oscar Wilde, a rabid wit who basically, it would be a delightful companion at any dinner table. I spent a bit of time with Mr. Fry. Nice enough chap, but shall we say complex, to be kind. Now here's the bit where I'm confused, right? Because Stephen has been very open about the problems that he's encountered himself, including mental health, depression, anxiety, all of that sort of stuff. So the question you would ask is, why would you want to go on a TV show that is all about pushing the very buttons that apparently you're struggling and suffer from? You know what I mean? I mean, it's a very cruel game show. If you're not across it, it's all about backstabbing and, sort of traitorism. And, I mean, as you can tell in the title. So consequently, one would say, well, why would you want to do it? Well, apparently Mr. Fry's version of events is he looks for challenges. Yes. And, I remember first meeting him many years ago when he absconded from a play called Cellmates in the West End, apparently struggling from anxiety then. So I'm not being unkind when I say this, but you do come away and think, what price for your own health, or indeed, is that to be believed? One or the other is not necessarily true. And the moment that a check comes or they're pointing a camera and you want seriously some attention, seemingly, well, all of that's supposed to be forgotten. But will it all be outed during Traitors? That's going to be interesting. What do you think to these type of stories? Do they confuse you? Neil Sean, Kensington, London.